First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for giving my sister an ultimatum unless she babysits my daughter? Hi all. Sorry, I'm 28 female, on mobile. During the great year of 2020, my sister, 25 female, lost her job and lost her apartment. It sucks all around. She loved her job and the area she was in, but she was the newest employee on a department that was the most likely to be downsized. She asked to move in with me. I live in the next major city near her and gave her an opportunity. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and around the time she had been laid off, my babysitter had to quit because of 2020 reasons. I live in a 3-bedroom house in the outskirts of town, so I offered that she gets her own room, bills paid, and groceries if she watches my daughter while at work until she finds a job/gets her job back. I didn't ask her to cook or clean. I prefer to cook, and I prefer to clean myself, so I know that it got done. At the time, she agreed. I prepared my daughter's meals in the morning and meds every day, so my sister's job is to make sure that when I get home, my daughter is still alive. It's been 2 months, and they seem to have really bonded well. But she confronts me last night, demanding she be paid $25 an hour every time she has to babysit. Her last job was $15 an hour, and she watched my daughter for about 8 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week. Her current bills, including car payments, student loans payments, and cell phone bill and credit card payments, the cost of the room, any activity that she takes my daughter on, pandemic permitting, and groceries add up to more than what she made in the past. I told her that I couldn't afford to house her, feed her, pay her bills, and also a sizable stipend. I might be able to do like a stipend per 2 weeks, maybe $200 a week for personal things. She told me she wouldn't watch my daughter any longer. I told her if she doesn't, then I would be making her move out, following all legal proceedings, and wouldn't pay her bills any longer. I have a backup babysitter who I would pay what they quoted me, but they wouldn't be leaving with me. They would have a living wage for the area, $20 an hour, plus additional compensation for activities that they take my daughter on. My sister started crying and left the room. Am I the a-hole? I feel horrible. I hate confrontation and being mean. Thank you for judgment and advice. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Yeesh, talk about biting the hand that feeds. Crap, for that pay, I'll be more than willing to be her nanny. Exactly. The other alternative is OP says sister is right, and they should put the whole arrangement on a more formal footing with a rental contract and an employment contract. She will pay $25 per hour babysitting, and sister can pay $800 rent plus $200 bills and buy and cook her own food. Sister will also have set responsibilities as part of the childcare, which includes preparing the kids' meals and supervising all homework and school pickup. Not the a-hole. She's being completely unreasonable. Do a bit of quick, dirty Googling to find out market rates for renting a single room in someone else's home. Add in the cost of all her monthly bills, plus the amount your grocery bill has increased with her there. Include how much that works out to hourly, the range, low to high, based on a 30 to 40 work week. Write it all down, so it's right there on paper for both of you to see. Then explain that this is how much you are paying her to babysit. And if she doesn't like this wage, she's welcome to get out. It is the goddamn height of entitled a-holery to ask your single mom, sister, to house you when you lose your job, pay all of your monthly bills, including credit cards, provide you with food and all the other necessities of life, with no expectations of cleaning or cooking, then be upset that you have to exchange 30 to 40 hours of your life hanging out with a delightful toddler you love dearly for all this. Thank you. Yeah, my husband unfortunately passed away last year. Life hasn't been that great lately. Haha. My daughter is my entire world, and my sister and my daughter love each other. I thought that bringing my sister in, they could bond, and I wouldn't have to worry about pandemic and strangers meeting my daughter. I am one of those folks who gives literally everything to anyone. Probably my fatal flaw. Haha. Thank you for your words. Now for the second story. Am I the a-hole for snapping at sister-in-law over parentification comments? My 29 female daughter, who we'll call Zuzu, is 3 and obsessed with babies. She has told me she wants 700 babies when she grows up, normal, and my wife has joked that going into her room at night is creepy, because in the bed there's like 17 baby dolls and then our actual daughter. Naturally, when her younger sister, 10 months old, was born, Zuzu was over the moon. She came into the hospital room, jumped onto the bed next to me and told me I'm gonna be her new mama. She always wants to help with her sister. For a 3-year-old, that means small things like helping me pick out an outfit for the baby, holding her while she watches TV, helping with feeding the baby, etc. Zuzu is constantly supervised while doing these things because she's 3 and, can see a bird in the window and then all focus is on that. My sister-in-law is solidly child-free, which is fine and her choice. But lately, whenever she's been over and Zuzu has been playing with her sister, which nowadays means putting little sister in a doll stroller and parading her around the house, she has started going on about parentification. She has told us Zuzu will resent us for this, and that kids who are forced to be parents are depressed grown-ups. Yesterday was no different. We were eating lunch and Zuzu asked if she could feed a baby some food. I actually said no, because we were in a rush, and sister-in-law said, "See? That's what you should be saying. It's horrible and wrong you would force a child into a parent's position." Well, I had enough and asked her to leave, and said that if she was going to keep making comments like that, she wouldn't be welcome. Wife agrees with me and said if I hadn't said it, she would have, but I've gotten some supremely nasty texts from sister-in-law saying she was just trying to help. Some of my friends who are aware of the situation said I shouldn't have been so harsh either. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Sister-in-law is 5 years younger than my wife, who is 32. They have no other siblings, and from what I have seen, wife has told me, etc., there was never anything like parentification ever. Now, for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Parentification is abuse. My mother did it to me, but this is not parentification. Seconded, as someone who was also parentified. Parentification is forced caregiving and does not allow a child to be a child. Zuzu clearly enjoys helping with her sister, and these are things she chooses to do, rather than you forcing her. Sister-in-law needs to get a grip. Not the a-hole. Thirded, my brother was parentified and had zero ability to cope with it, because he was only 14. A lot of messed up things happened as a result, and now I have lifelong post-traumatic stress disorder. Not the a-hole, OP. Not the a-hole. First, no forcing there. She's asking. Second, it's totally natural. And finally, getting toddlers involved is a really good way of heading off sibling rivalry. You're doing fine. Sister-in-law should butt out. I absolutely agree. I was obsessed with my brother when he was born. Younger siblings are the best. Can't teach your Cabbage Patch Kids dumb first words while mom and dad are angling for mama and dada. Zuzu's trying to get her first word to be Zuzu, of course, or sunglasses, which I have no explanation for. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for asking my daughter to share her college fund with her brother? I have 2 kids. Luke is 20 and Grace is 18. My soon-to-be ex-husband has a younger sister who is the same age as Luke. When Luke was 8, he put gum in her hair as a prank, and he was severely punished, but nothing could subdue my mother-in-law. She had to cut her daughter's hair, though she spent a small fortune on the best quality hair extensions she could, and sister-in-law hated Luke from that moment on. Mother-in-law and her husband hated him as well. She said he wasn't her grandson. He was never allowed in her house. Her husband actually said he should drop dead. Looks are everything in that family. My mother-in-law pretty much never saw Luke again, never bought him a Christmas or birthday gift. I wanted to go no contact, but my husband insisted that he wasn't losing his mom and continued to go over there with Grace. My husband also has an older sister with 2 kids. I knew mother-in-law paid for their college, but I figured she would not pay for either of ours. Well, my daughter recently turned 18, and mother-in-law let her know that she has $200,000 for her. Grace didn't try to rub it in, but she was very emotional and couldn't control her reaction in front of Luke, because up until this point, she had been looking for scholarships and planning on community college. Luke does go to community college while working part-time. I asked Grace to consider sharing the money because of how irrational her grandmother is, and because Luke is literally being punished for something he did at 8. Grace got offended and said she already felt bad for Luke, and that I as the mother should be impartial and not guilt-trip her. My soon-to-be ex also got mad and said I put pressure on her and now she feels uncomfortable. Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole, but not for asking your daughter to share. You're the a-hole for staying in that marriage for so long and allowing your mother-in-law and her family to emotionally abuse your son while favoring his sister in his face. It probably hurt him even more that his own father was allowing it to happen and even encouraged it by still having a relationship with his mother and visiting with your daughter. This is the only "you're the a-hole" I agree with. Her husband, the boy's father, was part of this abusive behavior. Instead of standing up for his son, who was just a little boy at 8 years old, he chose his mother and her terrible behavior, which most likely only enabled it. Could you imagine how that felt to a child? And then you have to live with this man. It's extremely toxic. You're the a-hole. 2 things. 1. If Grace even hinted that she was giving money to Luke, your mother-in-law would pull the money, and you know it. 2. I find it very hard to believe that Luke is not troubled. Either what he did at 8 was way worse than, whoops, got gum in your hair, or it's just part of a pattern. Doesn't really matter though. You're responsible for your own kids' college tuition. Look at the mother-in-law money as if Grace got a scholarship. She's all set, so figure out what you want to do for Luke. 2. Even if Luke was troubled, he was excluded from the extended family when he was 8. With not possibility to make amends or mature, that's really quite harsh. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to share my car with my sister? When I, female 18, was 16 but didn't have my driver's license yet, my parents told me I had to buy my own car or I would be unable to drive myself anywhere. I didn't mind, as I had been saving and had a job to help me pay for this. I found a car I absolutely love. It's a bit old, but in good condition, and I paid $8,000 for it. I have driven my car for almost 2 years and I love the car. I didn't go to college this year because of safety concerns, so I am doing college online at home. I figured I would continue to drive my car so I could go to work or anything else I needed to do. My sister, 16 female, got her license late this summer. My parents told me she would be renting my car so that she could drive herself to school. I asked why she couldn't buy her own car like I had to, but my parents never explained it to me. My sister takes the car every weekday and most Saturdays and Sundays as well. She pays for gas, but does not pay me to use the car. She now has free unrestricted access to my car whenever she wants it, and I am unable to drive myself to work or the store, so I have to get someone to pick me up or walk. I don't think this is fair, since I paid for the car with my own money from working, and I am also worried because my sister does not have a good track record for driving. My parents say I'm the a-hole and not a good sibling when I vocally express that I want to be able to use my car. Am I the a-hole? Now, for the top comments. You are certainly not the a-hole here. If your parents were fine with you paying $8,000 for the car, they should be fine with your sister paying you back $4,000, minus a bit because of depreciation, of course. When it comes time to service the car, buy new tires, change the oil, etc., will it still be a shared car or is it your car again? Important distinction to be made there. Maybe have a conversation with your parents about that. Edit. Addition to first part of my post. I also think it could be helpful for you to keep a detailed record of when you use the car versus when your sister uses the car, so they can see and note certain terms that is unfairly skewed to one side. Noting the times when you weren't able to drive yourself to work or other important engagements because of her having the car could also help your case. This is often how it works with the younger siblings. They take a hard line with the older one but soften up for the baby and can't justify their reasoning. Not the a-hole. Put a stop to this immediately. As the car owner, you are liable for any damage or accidents that your sister gets into. If she hurts someone, you could be sued. This is a dangerous situation for you. Aside from that, she isn't renting your car. She's stealing it. She isn't paying to help with the upkeep either. Parts need to be replaced due to wear and tear. Take your keys back and put your foot down. No is a complete sentence. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe. Our first story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not wanting to continue fighting for custody of my 9-year-old daughter? I know the title will automatically have many call me the a-hole, but I'm really struggling with my situation. My ex and I share our daughter 50-50. We do not have the best relationship, constantly in and out of court since my daughter was 1. She married into money, has everything she's ever wanted, more children, multiple cars, etc. But she still wants full custody of our daughter. When COVID started, she kept our daughter, claiming I would expose her. She refused to let me see her or talk to her for 2 months. I of course contacted the police multiple times who did nothing, and my attorney couldn't do anything. When restrictions were lifted, I was reunited with my daughter. Things were great for the first couple of days, but then her attitude changed. She was always sad and crying. Took a while, but my wife and I were able to create a safe enough space for her to share her feelings. Long story short, what she shared made me report it to CPS with a consultation of my attorney. When CPS finally got involved, the investigator found nothing, but my ex essentially blamed everything on me. Apparently, during the time my ex didn't allow me to see my daughter, she had our daughter write a diary of how unhappy she was with me and my wife, how mean and horrible we are to her, what we do to her, all of which are complete lies. The CPS investigator confirmed that's what my daughter said and has the diary as proof. We were being charged with all these allegations and we lost custody. When it was time to say goodbye, my daughter was sobbing, saying that she was sorry for lying. She explained that her mother made her write those things. She said it's easier to live with mom than with me, because if she stopped loving me and my wife, her mom will be happy. Now guys, this is where I'm so torn. I love my daughter, but this has been happening since she was an infant. Her mom makes false reports on how I do all these bad things. I have to constantly prove my innocence in court, drop thousands of dollars in court fees for the judge to always order me to do anger management or parental courses. My attorney says I will have to do a step-up program under supervision to see my daughter again. I have to talk to a therapist, take more courses, get counseling for me and my wife, among other things. This still doesn't ensure that I will be able to see my daughter again. My attorney also says that if I give in custody back, I will have to be very careful with my daughter, because since she made these allegations, the next time mom wants to try something, they will automatically take her away and I could face jail time. I'm exhausted, so tired of this uphill battle for me to constantly get pushed back down. I wonder if it would be easier, not only on me, but my daughter. Eliminating me from her life could make it easier on her. Again, I know I sound like an a-hole. I probably am. I just don't know what to do anymore. Now for the top comments of this post. Not the a-hole. Seriously man, you are not an a-hole for putting yourself first after being defeated against impossible odds. It is too much for you to handle and there is nothing wrong with admitting defeat and re-establishing a relationship with your daughter at say 18, or maintaining one over the internet or phone. Unless of course she's being abused by your ex-wife, I don't think you deserve to be judged for giving up on this battle. My hope is that I have established a strong enough foundation with her. I fought for the last 8 years creating this strong bond with her. She knows I love her no matter what and that our door is always open. Nothing can change what we feel for her. I hope when she is old enough, she will seek a relationship with me. Talk to her and try to explain why you are forced to abandon your battle. Also, be sure to talk to her and not make her feel as if you have forgotten her. Also, if anything could be arranged for visitation, do look into it. P.S. Why wouldn't she tell the court that she was forced to lie and that her mother coerced her to commit perjury? I did talk to her. We all sat down as a family and explained the situation as best as we could. We are waiting to see if mom approves visitation, if she does. She explained that she's too scared to tell the truth that mom made her lie. Her mom explained that if she would tell the truth, they'll lose all their money, their cars, and all of her toys. I have no grounds to give advice or judge you. I'll share my idea and you can tell me back if I'm crazy or an A. Make a pact with your daughter. Keep however many visitations you are allowed and play your wife's games. Tell your daughter how much you love her, but you will step back and stop this war. Every time you see her, tell her how much you love her and keep in touch. In 5 years or so, she will have more power to decide what she wants. Don't disappear from your daughter's life, but show to her that you never stop loving her and that you will never forget her. 9 years old are already smart, and they are aware of things around them. What is wrong and what is right. Make sure that there is no doubt in her mind that you love her wholeheartedly. Keep in constant contact with her, like getting her a cell phone or something, so you can call or chat with your daughter. Give her a plushie or something cute so that she can remember you by. Now for the second story, am I the a-hole for not letting my sister have custody of her bio kids who I adopted? When my sister, Annie, was 18 and I was 21, she got pregnant and had a daughter, Sophie. She developed what we believe was postpartum depression. but was never diagnosed as she refused therapy. When Annie's school started up again, our mother took on all childcare of Sophie. As Mom took on more childcare, Annie seemed more like her old self, happy, outgoing, generally mentally healthy. Then within 6 months of Sophie's birth, Annie got pregnant again with another girl, Laura, and the cycle of PPD symptoms, Mom taking over, and Annie's mood improving repeated. When Laura was 2 and Sophie was 3, Annie decided to move out of our parents' home, alone, and said she wanted our parents to adopt/raise her daughters. They said no. Annie said she couldn't take care of the girls as she had her own life and being a parent made her miserable. My husband and I already had 4 kids of our own. We'd bonded with the girls, and we had the resources for 2 more, so we offered to take them in, and Annie let us legally adopt them before moving about 8 hours away. It's been about 5 years, and the kids are doing well. It was a rough start, but we are now a stable, loving, healthy family unit. Sophie and Laura are 7 and 8, and Annie has recently lost her job and had to move back in with our parents. Annie has now asked for custody of Sophie and Laura. I'm writing custody like that because it wouldn't be custody in the legal sense, as she willingly surrendered all legal rights to the girls and can't get them back. We checked with the lawyer. However, Annie wants the girls to live with her. Initially, she said she wanted them full-time and to legally adopt them back from us, which we obviously refused. Then she offered a compromise of alternate weeks, so 50-50 custody. Again, we refused. Given her insistence, we don't even want her around Sophie and Laura, so we've not been going by my parents' house as we typically do. It's been a month of constant badgering, insisting we'll let Annie bond with her daughters and allow her to, at the very least, take them for overnight visits, saying that Annie had PPD 5 years ago, and now she's ready to be a parent. I've responded that we are not babysitters. We are Sophie and Laura's parents. They're in a good place, and this will be detrimental to all 6 kids, and Annie doesn't get to step in now when she never stepped up in the first place. The response from my parents and Annie is that I'm being unsympathetic to her PPD, and I should let her at least have a chance, rather than deem her unfit without giving her a chance to prove herself. Plus, given that we already have 4 kids other than them, Sophie and Laura could probably do with a smaller household, and saying we're being unreasonable for not allowing Annie to bond with her kids. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole, not the a-hole, not the a-hole, not the a-hole. And please, stand your ground. You have provided those 2 little girls with a stable, loving family for the last 5 years. You are genuinely the only true mom and dad they've ever experienced, and it is so unfair of your sister and parents to expect you to relinquish custody of your daughters, whom you have raised without any support or help from Annie. PPD is totally possible, but even with PPD, had Annie adopted the children outside of your family, not only would she have absolutely 0 custodial rights to them, but she wouldn't even know them whatsoever. Being a parent is not something you get to be wishy-washy about. Not the a-hole. All of the above. Plus, it appears the reason that Annie is now ready to be a full-time mom is that she has lost her job, doesn't appear to have a new role coming up, and is living rent-free off her parents. I've been to this picture show, and this is how it turns out. Annie takes 2 very confused and unhappy children to your parents' house. She plays mommy for a few months and gets bored. A new interest comes into the picture, usually a man. Annie no longer wants to babysit because she wants to be with her new boyfriend. Your parents ask you to resume your care of the girls. The girls are now emotionally damaged by the abandonment issues, both because their parents, you, left them there and the woman claiming to be their mother has left again. You will spend years trying to help them with these issues. Please stick to your guns. Your daughters are very vulnerable right now and they need your stability and love. Not the a-hole. You're the parents. She's bored and looking to do a little fun bonding. Protect your kids. She's an aunt at the table at Christmas by her own choices. Exactly this. She only wants the girls around now because she lost her job and got forced back into living with her parents. She has nothing else to occupy her time. As soon as she's able to get back to living her life, she'll dump the kids right back on Opie. No way. You're not the a-hole at all. Those girls already started their life off with a parent that wasn't present mentally and basically gave them up. They don't deserve to have their life be uprooted again with someone so unpredictable. That's just my opinion. Parents that step in and out of their children's lives are the worst. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my 8-year-old daughter see her 3-year-old half-sister? Hear me out. I was with my daughter's dad for 10 years. We ended things because he became addicted to crystal meth. About 6 months after we had broken up, he got another girl pregnant. We were still trying to work on things the entire time, and I was obviously furious when I found out he was going to have another kid. The problem here is, he is still on D's, and the woman who is the mother to his other daughter is a legit crazy person. She has gone as far as creating fake text conversations to create rumors about me and my daughter's dad, to try and put us against each other. At one point, my ex tried to get clean, and we agreed to try and work on things and try and put this all in the past. I even said I would accept this other kid because it wasn't her fault she was born. But the other mother continued to do crazy things, like stalking me, playing games with the dad that he was the father, then wasn't the father, allowing our kids to see each other, and then suddenly taking that away. She has caused a ton of drama and grief since she came into our lives in 2016. I'm even in another relationship and living with and engaged to another man, and she still continues to stalk me and my fiancé. She talks about us to anyone who will listen, uses texting apps to text us, pretends to be other people from these apps and says that we are cheating on each other, etc., etc. So basically, I want nothing to do with this girl. I suffered a serious emotional breakdown in 2019 because of all the drama/stress, and I have some trauma issues because of everything now. Obviously, I don't let my child go with her dad alone because of the D's. So I am always present. He is constantly telling me that I am a bad parent for not letting our daughter see the other kid. He isn't allowed to have either child on his own, but insists that I let him take our daughter over to the other mother's house, which I am not comfortable with, for obvious reasons. My daughter is almost 8 years old and is a very emotional/sensitive person to begin with. She doesn't understand why she can't see her sister, and is starting to take a toll on me and break me down if I should just let them be together. I have tried to arrange something in the past with the other mother, but she again pulled crazy crap, and it wasn't able to happen. So, am I the a-hole, guys? Now let's read the top comments. Not the a-hole. While it sucks that your kids are in this situation, I don't see how you can let your daughter see her half-sister without getting further sucked into this crazy chick's crap. Plus, you have no idea how she'll behave around your child, and you already know you can't trust her dad with her either. She's a hazard, and you have every reason and right to say that you don't want your kid around that. I feel sorry for the half-sister though. It sounds like she has a rough road ahead of her. Fully agree. You're not the a-hole here. My parents were amazing, and I can think back on relationships that they kept me from as a child that made me slightly resentful, but they had very good reasons for. I just give her what she appropriate context you can, and explain when she's old enough. Not the a-hole. It doesn't sound like you're jealous or trying to punish the little girl. Ultimately, I'm sad, because the only two people who matter are the little girls. However, you're keeping your daughter safe. Both your ex and his ex are unstable, and you have to protect your daughter from that. If your ex wants both of his daughters to have a relationship, tell him to get clean and do the work so he can eventually have unsupervised visitation with both. He's the one depriving his daughters by not providing a safe, stable home they can bond in, not you. I love this answer. Not the a-hole. It is not in the best interest of your daughter to be around this mess, and it sounds like the courts already told you that. Does she have a nice relationship with your fiancé? You need to cut the drama out for both of you. Report the other woman for harassment, get a restraining order, whatever you need to do for you to keep her away, then stay away. I've tried to get a restraining order on her before. The judge said it wasn't possible because she isn't threatening physical harm. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.